so you don't hopefully don't fucking break this thing. So thankfully after like 10 years of using this, and by 10 I mean literally 2, the body pins have loosened up considerably, so they're fairly easy to get out now, but I think you already figured out that the best way to do it is those spring punches you gave me. Those things, even though I can't find the one that I used for anything right now. So we're just gonna use it first. But if you pop this one open, the whole receiver will like hinge open. If you pop both of these off, you can kind of pull the whole thing apart. One thing to note is that when I got this grip, I grouted or made a little hole through here for the grip line. So when you put it together, I'll show you how to do it. But there's a way to make it a little bit simpler, so you're not fussing with this. A couple of other things to note. Let me think. There's pins in the back of the grip. One holds in the body pin, and there's another pin right here that holds in the whole selector system. So the trigger is tuned so that, why am I looking up? That's weird. You can't see this. So that it might need to be detuned, which there will be 2 set screws, which I'll show you when I open the gearbox. So if you ever need to replace the trigger unit, I suggest you watch a Wolverine video, because if you do not do it correctly, you will break the little selector knobs. So if I remember correctly, you have to put the trigger board in after you put the selector in. So it's a bit of a pain in the ass, even though the easier way is to do it the other way around. So just be mindful of that. Definitely watch a Wolverine video if you want to know how to do it, and look for the Gen 1s, because the new ones have optical triggers, so not a huge deal there. Poor desk. I generally, when I'm doing maintenance or whatever, just switching the battery, I only hinge it. When I send it to you, it'll be completely taken apart. So a couple things to look for here is you'll notice it hinges. This is the upper where all the fucking engine and all that shit is. This is the line. So one thing I'll show you with that. And then if you look here, maybe you can't see it, it's very hard to show, but there's a slot that goes next to the board. Let's see if this focuses. Next to the board right here, and then pops out above. So that's kind of where you want to put your line, your FCU line, even though there's no FCU. It's your battery line. I generally put the wire underneath the body pin so that the body hinge is closed and pushes the wires down, because there's a little slot back here. So it goes underneath the body pin after everything's closed, not over the body pin, because you'll fuck shit up. It'll never close. Also be careful if you're ever going to take the trigger, whatever that thing's called, the trigger control unit out? I don't know. It can be kind of finicky and very easy to break. So the way the whole engine works is these 2 little silver nubs contact these 2 little silver parts right here. Maybe you can't see it, but on the top of the engine right here, there's 2 little screws. They basically connect to that and make a electrical connection, and you're good to go. So sometimes these screws will get oxidized or something, so you can just replace those with whatever yoke you can buy from them to your Wolverine. So let's take the top off. Takes normal AR buffer tubes. I think there's a mil-spec buffer tube on here, so if you're gonna put stocks on here, I'd recommend using the original one. But yeah, you can do the selector while the upper's off, not gonna cause any issues. What else can I think of? I guess real quickly I could show you how to do take the engine out, because you'll have to do this occasionally if you need to adjust the hop up or change the bucking. So easiest way to do this is this little yoke is held in by pressure. Closer, actually. Shit. That's not sketchy at all, but this whole yoke is held in by pressure, and then let's see, back here there's a wiring harness. You can't really see it, but it plugs into the back of the engine. So the easiest way to do this I found is to get yourself a set of those little like hooks, the hook things that still have. Let's see if I can actually find it. These things. These little fucking hook things. This holds the whole engine in this little clip right here. So what I like to do first is to pop this up. So I'm just gonna leverage it there and push up, and it'll kind of like press out. It's still connected to the engine, so just be careful with it because it is a wire. And then back there, so as you can see back there, it's kind of plugged in. Just hook behind it, grab it, pull straight back, and it pops out. So it's just a little 3-pin connector, and then you just pull that out of the upper. So it's still being held in by the the motherfucking crib dog. So I like to push back on the engine because it's gonna pop out otherwise, and not gonna really any problems. But just hold your finger in the back of the engine, kind of push right here or keep your finger there, and then pop the clip out right here. And the whole engine will slide out. So here's the tricky part. These are meant to be bent, so they won't last forever. Even though this one has lasted a considerable amount of time, it will probably break eventually. But this macro line is meant to be bent, so how you get this out is you push the engine forward, you take the end of the macro line, get out of the way. I guess this would have been easier to do with the clip in. And you feed it through the receiver, to the back of the receiver. So where that little dip was where you originally had the wires and shit, you just push it through. It's gonna bend and you're like, what the fuck? But I try to kind of get it through as much as possible. You notice how it's bent there and it's kind of kinked. Just keep pushing and keep pulling a little bit, and pop, it comes out. And all is well. And the whole assembly will slide out. I've got the Silent Industries hop arm in there. I think I have like a white bucking lip in here pushing. And then a Promi 75 degree, it's the pink one, or not Promi, Maple Leaf. So, I would definitely give this some break in time, but yeah, pretty nice. That's how you do that. And then to put it all together, sometimes these will break or they'll get clogged up, so they're just like a little feed lip. You can pop it out, buy a new one, they're just a bitch and a half to get in, so try to avoid it if you can, but sometimes I find they get a little bit chalky and they need to be replaced. Maybe like once a year. Pop-ups in, so that slides in, you'll notice it has 0 play. Next step is the engine. You just slide that boy in there. Take your engine clip. Clip the engine in. Now it's not going to go anywhere. I like to align this because the yoke right here needs to be centered for this grommet or whatever you want to fucking call that. Nail end. Because that's just kind of how it aligns. So I kind of use the side of the receiver and a tool to push it through. Reminds me of vary here, but I like to just push on the line back and then feed it through the receiver. So just backwards pressure and it'll come back. Ta-da. So take this little white hole, take it and slide it through the back of the engine right there. That'll be moving around a little bit, but you'll be fine. Align it, and once again it's held in by pressure, so you'll feel it kind of click, or not click, I guess. It'll be it'll just slide in where it needs to go. And if it's not sliding in, something's just not aligned. Usually that little part on the back of the engine. But I can't see what I'm doing, but fuck it, who cares? There we go. And now it's all together. Everything's good there. You don't need anything else except for this clip. So this is where it gets kind of tricky, because you'll see that, I mean, you can't fucking see it, but where that little white dot is, it needs to go back into the back of the solenoid. So this one's a little bit tricky, but you can kind of bend the wire at the thickest part and it'll sort of slot itself. The wires aren't too soft. Like you little fucking bitch. Shit. Okay. What's there? There you go. You'll feel a click in there too. You can see it pretty well if you got bastards of hands. There we go. And it's clicking back there. So I don't know how well you can see that. Who cares? So that you've got all that together, you can just literally take the lower receiver. Once again, pop the lower pins out. Oh, just so you know how to adjust the trigger. There's 2 Allen key screws kind of like on top of the trigger right there. So you'll just fucking screw those in or out depending on how far you want the trigger pull, but it's about as far as it can go without locking up the entire upper, because it does have a certain amount of play that it needs to be able to close. So it can completely hinge forward, so obviously hinge it. Ooh, that sounded fucking cool. Take the little wire for the control unit, slide it there, drop it into its little slot. You'll see the little slot. So here's where it kind of gets tricky. This needs to go down to the grip. If you have problems, you can actually unscrew this. It's just like a little like cover, but it helps it get through the grip sometimes. I never had that problem with this, but I did have problems with the stock line. So if you're ever having problems getting it through the receiver, you just unscrew that. But I can like to pop this up a little bit, and then there'll be a slot. Make sure it's in safe, otherwise it will not go, it will not pass through. Slide it down, you'll feel it like kind of go through the receiver, and then from here I just push the little wire next to it, and then everything will kind of seat itself. And then you just hold the wire and close it. One thing you might find is that the bottom here blocks the plate, so just pop the plate off on the bottom of the receiver by squeezing it. Ow, you fucker, that motor grip. That isn't a motor grip. Ow. So that's off, but it'll slide through there. There you go. And our battery goes in the buffer tube generally. Once that's all together, I take this, slide it through here, pop it back together. And that is the basics on how to disassemble your MTW. If you need any more instructions, just let me know and I'll help you out with it. But that's kind of how that's done. Why am I struggling with this so much? That's because it's upside down. I'm a fucking idiot. Get in there, you little fat bitch. Oh, that's upside down. I know, I'm just stupid, apparently. There we go. Slippy slidey. But yeah, hope you like it. Sad I can't use it anymore, but so is life. I'm fucking poor.